Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the session Towards the Moon Village Generation, the second edition of the MVA Italy Space Summer School Experience. I'm Dr. Jeremy Wood, and I'm a professor in the Space Studies program at American Military University. If you have any questions for the presenters, please type them in the chat box, and we will address them during the Q&A session at the end of the presentation. It is my honor now to introduce to you the presenters, Alessandro Bartoloni, Tancredi Maria Siragusa, and Giovanni Romano.
Thank you, Jeremy.
You're welcome.
So we can start, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start from, let me say, a memory from the last year conference. I participated with a panel on the school that we organized to celebrate the International Moon Day last year. And one slide that I showed it was about the fact that the very, let me say, crucial follow-up of the school was that some attendants after the school decided to join the association because they was really happy to follow the school last year. And you can see in this slide that the two of the person was Giovanni and Tancredi, that in the school that we organized to celebrate the same event of the International Moon Day 2024, they had a crucial role in organizing the session that essentially is very close to the topics of this conference, that by readiness of the next generation of space explorer, because the session that Giovanni and Tancredi was crucial in organizing was named Towards the Moon Village Generation, that more in general is correspond to a task that is one of the task that is pursued by the Moon Village Association. So going ahead with the presentation, this is the outline. We will have some short introduction by me about the school and about the Moon Village. Then Giovanni will introduce instead the session Toward the Moon Village Generation, what it was organized, and in general, the people that taking part, while Tancredi, that give in that session a lecture, will give us a sample about that, also making some focus on one of the tools that, let me say, was created to prepare the next generation, that is the CubeSat platform that allows people to put experiments or, let me say, something in orbit, in space, in a sort of easy way with the traditional path that is needed to put in space the experiments or things like that. Then we will have a roundtable discussion and a question and answer session. So the Moon Village Association is a non-profit. You can access many information on the website that was renewed this year. Essentially, what is one of the main points is that, first of all, at the international level, so we have members not only from Italy, but from the US, from Japan, from the Asia, so from any part of the world, but also, even if it was a young association, because it was founded in June 2017, essentially, as a member of the International Astronautical Federation and holds the observer status within the United Nations Committee on the Peaceful Uses of the Outer Space. So in a sense, as an association, we participate to all the most important, let me say, activities that are on space exploration. The life of the association is supported by the members. At the moment, there is roughly 250 members from 60 different countries, and from institutional members that essentially are association. You can see on the right some logos of, for example, the National Space Society, or the International Space University, or, for example, the Bocconi School of Management in Italy, the Space Generation Advisory Council, that are institutional members of the association. This is also very important to create networking. This is our website that was renewed in July, and so you can access with the QR code and information if you want to know something more about the association, and of course about how it's possible to join the association. And also there is this YouTube page in which there is a lot of webinars or video about some events that was done by the association, organized by the association on YouTube. There is still some video about the school we organized last year, and we will be in the future also some video taken from the lecturing did in this year's school. Also, there is a LinkedIn page, one of the association in general, also one of that was managed by the Italian members. And also I would like to highlight this Moon Village Workshop and Symposium, that is an event that is organized each year by the association. This year, it's a pleasure for me to have to be the co-chair of the International Program Committee that you can see on the right. There is also many other institutions represented, not only the Moon Village Association. So I invite you to join. There is still possible to send abstract to have the possibility to talk to this event that will be in December 2 and 3, and will be hosted by the Luxembourg Space Agency in Luxembourg. So this is something that is also another opportunity to create networking on what regard the space and all the activity that are more focused about the moon space exploration that at the moment is the, let me say, #1 in all the National Space Agency agenda. So then going to the International Moon Day, it was something that was promoted by our association many years ago. And after a long path, it was recognized by the UNESCO as, by the United Nations Corpus as, let me say, an international celebration to be celebrated, of course, on the 20 July 1969, that correspond to a very topical day for the space exploration community. And in this case, the International Moon Day celebration each year has a different theme that was decided by association, usually in this moment for the year after. And this year was illuminating the shadow, but to make it short, the real point is that the association tried to foster the creation of activities that and events that was of very different types. But let me say what is the commonality is that it will be organized around the 20th of July. This year we have a lot. There is usually one main event that was organized in China this year, but also you can see other events in all possible countries. Think that more than 40 countries organize event. In that sense, we organize for the second year the Italian MVA Space Summer School. What is the idea of the school was to try to have people, point of contact people, Giovanni and Tancredi was point of contact, but also to have not only point of contact people from our organization, but also for people interested to take part to the school that was in charge to organize session and giving lecture. So main ideas were to organize in hybrid mode. So each session could be in person or only in a virtual mode, but this was to, of course, simplify the possibility to let people participate, and also the organization by itself. There was a no registration fee policy. We are looking for pro bono speakers, not only from the association, and we decided to have 3 days. Last year was only 2 days. This year we have a lot of people that want to take part, and so we have 3 days event, and at the end it was more 4 days, and we will see in a moment. And of course, everything was streamed on Zoom. This is the cover that was used for the Eventbrite site to let people to register. You see all the different logos of organization and institution at any level that take part lecturing, and also the different side. There was a session that was given in person from Dubai, and one from Naples, but also many other from many other countries in the world. This is the agenda. This was 4 days with 7 different sessions plus 2 keynote, one on space architecture, the happens in the day zero, what is called day zero. That was something that at the beginning was not forecast, while another one was on lava tube on Mars and Moon on the second day. The session was about many different topics, but you can see that one was devoted to the world, the moon village generation, that is the object of this panel. The characteristic of the last year's school was we want to maintain a level of interdisciplinarity, and also was maintained in this year, so that you can see divided in different branches the topic that was faced during the school: economy and missions, governance, cultural aspects, science and technology, architecture. And also this year, we try to have some that was more, let me say, focused on the education outreach. That is something that for space exploration is very, very important, because everyone recognizes how much it's crucial to let people be ready for this kind of different type of life and experiences. And this was also the focus of this conference, Space Education Strategic Application this year. And also for the speaker affiliation, we have something different. This is on the right. You can see what happens in last year. Essentially, we try to have the 4 pillars of the space exploration, space activity represented, that are the students and young professional association, the academics, research, the space agencies, and the enterprises. So all these 4 pillars are, in a sense, crucial for the development of these kind of activities. And this year something happens, I don't know, in a way not, let me say, but you can see at the end is the school is done by teaching, and so there is more presence in this year about academic and research, and less about the involvement of enterprises. But we have the good news that last year we have only the Italian Space Agency and the European Space Agency involved. Instead, this year we have also NASA and the Luxembourg Space Agency involved. So going back to the topic of this panel, this was the session that is more represented in this panel, the Moon Village generation. That is the generation born into a world where humans have a continuous collaborative presence on the moon. This was the definition of the Moon Village Association about the Moon Village generation, because the idea is that everyone knows that this time we want to go to the moon to stay. This is, in a sense, what is planned by all the space agencies. And so in that sense, this kind of project focuses on engaging students and young professionals on the future of lunar exploration and the Moon Village. And okay, these are the roundtable questions, but it's something that we will do later. Now it's time for Giovanni to take the floor. Please share your slides.
Yes, thank you, Alessandro. We'll share the screen now. So, can you confirm you can see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Let me just, okay, perfect. Okay, so hello everybody. I am Giovanni Romano. I am a second year's master student at Politecnico di Milano, Italy, and I am also a member of the Moon Village Association. Alessandro already introduced this, let's call it, project of the Moon Village Association, but now let's dive into it and understand what it exactly is about and what we did in the last school session dedicated to the Moon Village generation. So it is one of the many working groups of the Moon Village Association, and as already said by Alessandro, its aim is to engage students and young professionals on topic related to the future of lunar exploration, and of course also the Moon Village, since this time we want to go there to stay there. But why do we want to engage students and young people on such topics. So, you know, everybody now asks ChatGPT, so I did the same, and this is what came out. So, inspiration for STEM careers. ChatGPT is also a little bit pragmatic, so of course you need to find work in the future, and this is one possibility. But of course, it also encourages curiosity and critical thinking, and also underlines the importance of global collaboration in such a complex and let's call it far objective. And of course, in the minds of the young people, it can also foster imagination and creativity beyond the borders of the earth. But of course, among many others, the one I liked the most was this one: understanding global collaboration, since we need a joint effort to go to the moon and beyond. Regarding my personal experience, I wanted to share a little bit my view about the future of a moon generation. This experience is based on my different on the different activities I did in university associations and for the Moon Village. So what I really loved about these experiences that are kind of going outside the box, outside the borders of the standard academic work, is that you get your hands on the real stuff. You actually get to know people who share the same passion with you, and people you can always contact in case of need from a professional point of view. And of course, you can show your passion, but you can also learn from other people, from what they can share. And I think this is something that really struck me on the first time I attended the Moon Village school. It was 2 years ago, and actually I was really struck by Alessandro's passion towards technology in general and space in particular. What about our latest activity? The second Space Summer School of the Moon Village Association. As already said, this session was dedicated to students and young professionals, and we had many student associations presenting their work. And we also had a talk from Luxembourg Space Agency about their space strategy. And I had the opportunity and the honor of co-chairing this session, and now I will share with you some of the insights we gathered from the session itself. So Luxembourg Space Agency was present with the work of Bob Lambourey, and as many other space agency, also the Luxembourg Space Agency has a section dedicated to young talents, and they offer different kinds of support for students studying science, technology, engineering, but also propose different academic challenges. And in particular, Bob dwelled on this initiative, Space Resources, in which the LSA has a leading role in the managing of the exploration and utilization of space resources. and they make sure that space resources are actually used for peaceful purposes and in a sustainable manner for the sole benefit of humanity. Let's now look a little bit into the different student associations that presented the work. They share many characteristics, and more or less all of them offer forums for discussion on technical, technological, engineering topics, but they also have a kind of practical education, get hands on the real stuff, as I said before, by designing and manufacturing, for example, rockets, RC planes, but also rovers and small satellites. And of course, by doing so, by learning something different, by getting practical, there is also facilitation in the job world once academics is over. One of the associations I joined during my studies is Polyspace. They are based in Milan, and in the aforementioned session, they presented two of their projects. Spark, that stands for space architecture, that thinks about the lunar and Martian outposts as places to live and not only to survive. And in order to design such spaces that are kind of socially adequate, they want to have user feedback through virtual reality. The other project presented, specifically the one in which I worked for about a year, is MIVA, Medical Equipment for Extravehicular Activities. And it deals with the comfort of the astronauts during their analog missions. And indeed, it's a spacesuit for these missions with a thermal control system that controls the astronauts' skin temperature, but also controls the stress levels. Last but not least, Euroavia Napoli was present at the session, and this association is based in Naples, and one project spinning off from their work is the project Ignis. But I'm not gonna spoiler anything because Tancredi is here to talk about it. So let's come to the conclusions. How do I see this space education, this new space generation? I see it as something that we have to envision together to kind of enjoy it together. So I wrote here a future to envision together as people for people. And I also want to hand out some recommendations. First, for students, if any are listening now. So just join any kind of student associations. Don't worry if you don't have time, you'll find it. And it's a nice opportunity to get to know a lot of people that share the same passion with you and to actually work on what you love. And the second one is for professors, for employers. facilitate such an attitude for young professionals and give them their time to share their passion and to show it to everybody. So thank you for your attention. This is me. Of course, you can follow me on LinkedIn, but I guess that questions will follow at the end of all the presentations, and I will leave the floor to Tancredi.
Thanks, Giovanni. I'll share the screen. Here I am. Hope you can see the screen.
Yes.
Okay. Do you see the screen? Okay. First of all, thanks for the opportunity to present this panel. I'm Tancredi Siragusa. I'm a bachelor student in aerospace engineering. And today we're gonna talk in this short session about Project Ignis. And Project Ignis is a project, is a spin-off from International Association, which is the European Association of Aerospace Engineering Students. But in this session, we'll talk about first, then we'll focus on Ignis, and at the end, we'll dive into the exciting application of CubeSat into the lunar mission scenario. So to begin, we can analyze the definition of a CubeSat by the ESA, the European Space Agency. So as you can imagine, CubeSat is a very small satellite, it is a modular platform. So the basic module is a cube, which is 10 times 10 times 10 centimeters, and the weight is about 1 kilo. But here on the right, you can see a 3U CubeSat, which is composed, of course, by 3 modules, and it resembles a shoebox. And it actually is quite small. It is just long 30 centimeters. So we can compare to a man, and also to another satellite, which is Landsat 8, and helps Earth make. So CubeSat represent an innovative platform for space exploration, and we think that CubeSat are characterized by 2 things. The first is the cost effectiveness, because as you can see, and we'll see that CubeSat are very small and indeed cheap. But on the other hand, CubeSat are also quite easy to assemble, we can say, and that is crucial into the definition of an educational tool. So CubeSat represent really a strong and easy to use educational tool in the scenario of the preparation of the new generation for the space exploration for the cosmos. So CubeSat actually are really a flexible platform because you can install inside whatever type of experiment you're able to. So CubeSat applications range from microgravity experiments to Earth observation application. And in this session, we'll focus on that. So CubeSat are crucial into, for example, the analysis of and the prevention of disaster, such as wildfires or flooding, which hit all the Mediterranean basin, just thinking about the summer period in like floodings. But it also can have a role into the environmental monitoring, so for example, pollution, or also monitoring the water and air quality levels, which is very important nowadays. But CubeSat are actually used into the farming field, for example, to monitor diverse type of cultivation during the year. But now let's dive and talk about IGNIS. So IGNIS is a student project of the University of Naples Federico II. I'm a member of the IGNIS team and IGNIS system. So first thing first, mission goal. The goal of the IGNIS mission is to take thermal images of the Phlegraean area in Italy known as Campi Flegrei, which is an area of about 100 square kilometers near Naples, and it is very active from a volcanological point of view, but it is also very populated, and it is characterized by a phenomenon called bradesism, and one of the most visible, we can say, consequences of this phenomenon is the constant presence of earthquakes during the months. And for this reason, the ENGV, which is the National Institute for Geology and Volcanology, monitors 24 hours a day the situation via the land sensors, but also satellites. However, the ENGV takes the data from satellite, from thermal satellite, for example, Aster and Landsat, whose primary mission objective is not the Campi Flegrei monitoring. So we have data, we have images like 2 times a month, and generally these images are a daylight image. And in this particular type of mission and analysis, the images should be taken during the night, because with our mission we aim to monitor the steam, the hot steams that comes from fumaroles, which are the craters of this enormous volcano under Naples, and these steams can reach temperature of about 100 degrees Celsius. However, if you took a thermal image on the 5th of August and like at 12 a.m., you'll see just a red box and the analysis won't be performed. So what's our idea? So what's the idea of the Federico II students is to take COTS thermal camera, which is an off-the-shelf camera, and to adapt it to the space environment, put it on one 3U CubeSat and launch it. So here you can see the CAD model of the CubeSat, which in reality is quite small. So what about the thermal camera? We choose FLIR Boson 640, and today we won't go deep into the details, but you should know that IGNIS will be the first CubeSat with a thermal camera on it, taking this type of analysis, and in particular that this type of camera, the FLIR Boson, was actually used in space, but not for the same purpose. So we will need to be testing that in the facilities of our university. It was quite easy to set it because our requirements were benchmarked based on Aster Landsat mission. So our aim is to provide more photo with more accuracy, more precision, and in a better quality. So we selected a GSD of about 78 kilometers with focal length of 100 millimeters. And in order to do so, we had to select orbit, so very low orbit in general. We are talking about an altitude of about 500 kilometers. It gives us a lifetimes of about 1 year, 1 year and a half. And we estimate an average of 40 passage of nadir pointing, which are very good. And of course, if the payload represents the core of the mission, it is interesting to understand how this CubeSat can actually take this type of photo with a high level of accuracy. So it is fundamental in an Earth observation mission, the ADCS, the Attitude Determination and Control System. I was the head of the team which has managed the attitude system, the attitude determination and control system. So as you can see, the ADCS is divided into two sections. We have the attitude determination and the attitude control. So the attitude determination is responsible for estimating the attitude of the CubeSat, and then the attitude control will move the CubeSat No. Do you see me? Yes. Okay. So I'll go forward. So the attitude determination. So the attitude determination is a system composed by lots of sensors. So our target is an accuracy of 0.1 degrees of accuracy, and we can achieve that via lots of sensors. The most interesting ones are the magnetometers, which exploit the energy from the magnetic fields, the Earth magnetic fields, and give an attitude to the CubeSat, but also the Earth horizon, which are small cameras put aside the CubeSat, which are able to detect the Earth horizon and use this type of data to estimate the attitude of the CubeSat on 6 degrees of freedom, and then we'll have inertial measurement units, so accelerometers, and of course a GPS. On the other side, we have the attitude control. So for this type of mission, I think that it was very interesting to select reaction wheels and magnetorquer, because this type of CubeSat will not have a propulsion system, which would have been too complex, and also would have been very expensive. So on the other hand, we'll use reaction wheels, so 3 reaction wheels, 1 for each side, and the last for redundancy, and then magnetorquers, which works in the same way as magnetometers, but instead they utilize the energy from the magnetic field to move, as you can see in the GIF, the CubeSat. And at the beginning of this presentation, I said that CubeSat missions are quite cost effective, and in reality they are. So, for example, we estimate. So this is a first estimation of our cost. So, not considering the testing, which we hope will be free in our university, and the payload, which we estimate in under 10-15K, and the ground segment, so the ground station, which we hope to build here in Naples, the cost is around 100K. So in comparison to Landsat, not only CubeSat are really smaller, but are really cheap. So for example, Landsat 8 mission cost millions and millions to the ESA and NASA, and this is just a fraction of that cost. So what about Project Ignis? What will be the next step? We'll be presenting a paper at the EAC 2024, so the International Astronautical Congress, one of the most important congress for the aerospace sector in Milan. So we will be pleased to see you at our stand, and after that we'll begin the construction, the real construction of the CubeSat, having handed the phase A of the feasibility. So I'm an engineering student as Giovanni, but both of us are also member of the Moon Village Association. So in the summer school that was held in July of this year, we investigated the possible application of CubeSat in the lunar mission scenario. So CubeSat are very flexible and can in the context of imminent lunar mission can map lunar resources, but also create a network for communication and navigation, but as they do on Earth, monitor the lunar environment. We can think about, first of all, Lunar Flashlight, which is a mission whose objective is to detect water ice in the dark side of the moon. And of course, detecting water is crucial in order to establish a permanent habitation on the moon soil for the humans. But also we can think about the Capstone mission. So Capstone mission is quite particular because it has already been launched, and it has demonstrated not only the possibility of autonomous navigation, but in the cislunar orbits, but also possibility in terms of satellite communication between moons. About that, just think about Starlink, which is based on a network of thousands of CubeSats or small sats, which guarantee an internet connection all over the world, and a communication network fundamental in the process of the moon, because lots of the activities will be done by robotic missions. So the monitor and the communication capabilities with these robotic drones will be fundamental. But as we said, lunar soil is quite wild, so monitor the lunar environment in terms of radiation, for example, will be fundamental. And in this sense, we wanted to cite a mission, an Artemis mission, which carried LUN-IR, which is a CubeSat developed by NASA and Lockheed Martin, which map all the lunar soil. But into the Artemis mission carried also another CubeSat, very interesting. It is called Luna HMAP, and its objective is to map hydrogen deposits underneath the soil, and of course this would be very important in order to produce propellant for spacecraft on the moon. So the future of CubeSat in lunar mission looks brighter than ever, and we hope as a new generation to will have an active role in this sense, and using CubeSat here on planet Earth as a tool for exploring the cosmos. Thanks for the attention, and I think that I can interrupt the share.
Thank you very much, Tancredi. Thank you, Giovanni, for your talks. And I don't know now if there is want to leave some spaces for immediate questions. I don't know, Jeremy, if there is some.
Yes, we have a few questions that have already come in, and I'll just go ahead and read those to you. They are both for the speaker who just spoke. The first one is about Ignis, and the question is, as worded, what about technical of remote sensing of predict climate variables? What I think it means is the person is asking if the CubeSats can detect certain variables, I would assume such as temperature, such that you can predict what the climate will be in the future. Is that correct? And the question is by Dr. Hala Kadhim Tayeh. So is that correct? Is that your question? You want to know if they can predict the climate in the future, the CubeSats? Okay, well, I think that's the question. So what do you think?
Yeah, I'll try to answer. The thing is that surely Ignis will play a crucial role into the determination and maybe the prevision of volcanic phenomenon years in Naples. But I was thinking about another mission which is being developed by University Federico Santa Maria in Chile, which is one of our partners, and they are using a similar technology to monitor the lightning strikes into thunderstorms, and they are using a specific technology in order to predict this type of extreme weathers. So yes, I think CubeSat can actually play this type of role in a near future, I hope.
Okay, the person also wants to know if you can use the data to prove any historical climate effects, I guess, in the past, based on what you're seeing now.
Actually, I don't know, because this type of research, I think, is more linked to I'd say environmental physics than aerospace engineering, but I can put you in contact with the guys from Federico Santa Maria University, and you can have more data about that.
If I can add something to this topic, it was very, let me say, an emerging one. Also in the school, not only the talk about Tancredi and his colleagues was about this kind of Earth observation monitoring, but also we had two other talk, one done by the people that is in charge of this kind of Earth observation for public health, that is in the European Space Agency, another one from some institution from Bolivia and Peru. And what is about climate variables is something that is very, very important, especially because this network of satellite, for example, the Copernicus Sentinels that is managed also by the European Space Agency, are used to not only make the space weather prediction, but something that is in this moment is really important, that is the reaction to the emergency situation. Because the climate, one of the effects of the climate change is the increase of the weather emergency. So some critical condition that happens more frequently than in the past, like flooding or hurricanes or like things like that. And this Earth observation satellite network are used to really manage the emergency, to, for example, route people to the right places, or let me say also to make some sort of use of the historical data to try to, in a sense, predict if a strong event is incoming. And this is something that was, even if it was not so related to the space exploration, we was very happy to have people that will spend some time talking about this in the school, because it's something that also, of course, will be in the future of the space exploration. Especially when we want to go in deep space, the space weather forecast will be about the critical events that could happen in space due, for example, to the solar activity, the so-called solar flare or coronal mass ejection. So this kind of experience that is done looking at the Earth and using the satellite network, and in the future also the CubeSat network of satellite could be of really use of to create the same kind of networking in the future in space, in the solar, in the heliosphere, to monitor the space weather, what is called the space weather.
Okay, the next question is, do you have any research papers about this matter? I think it's about the CubeSats.
Yes, and credits for you if you have yet published a paper on that.
Yes, as I said, I showed a slide, but I think it was when my computers crashed, and we will publish on for the EAC 2024, and we will submit the paper, I think tomorrow actually. So you can access to the paper, I think from October 2024 on the YAC site. And the title of the paper is Project Ignis, and one paper about I'm reading your message. I'm not sure if you're referring to the possibility of prediction in terms of climate variables, or on the application of a thermal camera on a CubeSat. Because our main focus, our main objective is to monitor volcanic phenomenon.
Okay, then the person says they have one paper on this topic and they need more. So that's not really a question, but that's a statement that the person made. The next question, I believe it's also about the CubeSats or IGNIS. And the question is, what the geographic projected used?
Can you be a bit more specific? Geographic projected used?
Dr. Hala, could you reword the question for the speaker?
If you're referring to the geographical area that we are aiming, it is a very small target. Campi Flegrei is a square of about 90 square kilometers. So from an altitude of about 500 kilometers, it is quite hard for us to nadir pointing that. So we have predicted an off-nadir pointing mode of about 25 degrees left or right. I see a link on the chat. Let's see. Analysis of NASA power analysis production predict. Just okay. But I think that it is surely very interesting. But I think that the range in temperature and the object of the analysis is quite different from us. In this paper, I see they're talking about a river in Iraq, and the range of temperature is a bit small for us because we have an accuracy of about 1 degree, because the hot steams ranges from 150 degrees Celsius to about 80. But I see that the rivers, of course, is about 30 degrees. Do you mean I can use in QG software? I'm really sorry, but I don't know this type of software. QG software.
I think that we have still some 10 minutes, right?
Yes.
So I think we can move on to the roundtable and then invite also people connected to put in the chat what they think about the question that I will ask you to Tancredi and Giovanni. Let me share the screen. And of course, if there is some other question, Jeremy, please let us know.
Okay.
Just a moment. So the idea is that this was, let me say, how a school can involve people that all type of topics and also all type of provenance. So not only from industries, enterprises, or academics, but from many different fields. And this is what is essentially the main aim of the school. And so I'm very happy that this talk that was essentially also did as an lecture form in the school was raise the interest in this panel. And to go ahead, I have to, let me check. Okay, yeah, I should be. So these are some roundtable questions, but please, all the people that are connected, if you want to say something about that, I will start from, let me say, the second one, starting from Giovanni. So what is for you, Giovanni, is important about partnership between industry, academia, international organization, in playing in advancing the vision of not only the Moon Village, but the Moon Village in that sense to prepare the space, the next space explorer generation? And what do you think is the possible, let me say, the things that could be done to enhance the collaboration across these sectors?
Okay, thank you, Alessandro, for your question. I will try also to answer with my personal experience related to the last days. So I think that we need to understand that we are playing this game together and not one against the other. And so I should go to Toulouse in a few days to start collaborating with them on a thesis about modeling of multi-injector combustion chambers. But now there is a problem with non-disclosure agreements, and I don't know if I can go, but the work is not really something that we cannot disclose. So it's always that that dark side, the bureaucratic side, that stops us from advancing. And unfortunately, I think this happens many times.
So always to you, Giovanni, I will talk to about the third question is, what about thinking about these technologies like CubeSat and in general, the lunar exploration tools? What, in your opinion, the most critical skill that young professionals should develop to contribute meaningfully to the Moon Village generation? So in your curricula, what do you think is, also in your experience, the most important topic or let me say, experiences that you did to improve your knowledge and to grow up as in the professional, your professional life?
Okay, thank you. So I think that regarding the technical aspects, university prepares us for that. But maybe this is more related to the Italian university, is we don't have many soft skills. So I would say just get in the game, talk to people, start working in groups, and propose projects, deal with projects, and work with your passion with other people. I think that's something I try to develop during my studies.
So before to move on to Tancredi, I would like to ask Jeremy, that was so kind to follow up, to support us in this panel, but he's also a professor. And so if you can say something on these two topics, you're welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you. I would say keep up on the latest software in your particular area, because there's always new software. It's always changing, and it changes very fast. They're always introducing upgrades to software, whatever it is you're using, like MATLAB or whatever tool you are using. That is one thing I would say. Communication is very important. Communicating with professional people in the field. We call it networking here, but try to get to know people who are professionals and working there. Communication is very important. If you have a mentor or if you have a professor that is above you, it's good to have regular communication with these people. And I strongly recommend video meetings rather than just email, because I think it's better, it's more personal.
Oh, yes, I agree. And also in person, not only on Zoom.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So Tancredi, can you add something about what Jeremy just said about your experience of people that encourage you to take this kind of communication efforts or communication improvement?
Yes, of course. I was thinking about the skills that you were talking about with Giovanni, and I think that, like in my experience, in my like CubeSat development experience, I'd say that one of the most important skills that we should have as students and future workers is team working, but also the time management. So I saw that how writing a paper is difficult, but not only under the technical aspect of a new subject that you have to explore and to understand, but also in terms of managing with the other authors and manage time. But I also think that into the scientific field, there always has been into the recent years a focus into specializing into technical question. But I'd say that, for example, in order to build just a small CubeSat as Ignis, we needed software engineering, or also geologist and structurist. So what I suggest is to try to be more synergic between the subjects and do not focus only into one field of study.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if there is some more question from the audience.
Yes, a question has come up. I already answered it, but you can also answer it if you want to. Is it possible to employ advanced programming languages such as Python for space software? Is there a trend in this regard?
Yes, I read your answer, Jeremy. I completely agree. Yeah, mostly depends from the which is the sector research that you are facing. My experience is about radiobiology or cosmic ray measurement for radiobiology. I should say that even if I use R and not Python, but essentially these two languages are more platform, and there is libraries developed for any kind of application. And so I think that the question is definitely yes, but mostly depend on the type of application that you are facing, you have to solve, a problem that you have to solve. So if there is no any other question, I think that we can spend this last minute to just remind everyone that in Italy, because this school, even if involved a lot of people from many different countries, was essentially born in Italy as an idea. And so this year we have these very important conferences in Milano, and we expect also to be there and to talk about this school, and also this panel that we did it. Also, we will have the possibility to talk about again about the school in the Moon Village Workshop and Symposium that will be in December, I remind everyone. And of course, for people interested, we hope, you're not still sure, that for the next International Moon Day, we will organize again the school, and we will be very happy if someone of you join us as in the audience, or if you want to take some part in organizing sessions. Just let us know. My email address of the Moon Village is this one, but also you can be in touch with Giovanni and Tancredi, because they also are involved in the association activities. I don't know, Giovanni, Tancredi, if you want to say hello, something to conclude the panel, please do it.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us here. It was a pleasure, and hope to see you soon. And please feel free to connect with us.
Yes, hi, thanks for the opportunity, and we hope to see you at the EAC 2024 in Milan this year.
And of course, the last word is to thanks the organizer of the Space Education Strategical Application Conference that give us this opportunity to organize a panel. Is very important for us. We are really honored and pleasure to be here in this conference. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank everyone for attending this session. We're now concluded. I want to thank again our presenters. Grazie mille, and good luck with all your research.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.